time has come for us to turn towards Toranaga as an ally.
己の敵の正体が分かっておらぬのじゃ。女は女の苦しみを見過ごせぬもの。
生贄となった者たちの命、死を無駄にはせぬぞ。
FX's Shogun.
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Eisenfire here, and welcome to my Shogun Episode 6 preview breakdown. After the devastation unleashed by the massive earthquake at the end of Episode 5, Toranaga and company will now have to pick up the pieces and salvage what remains of his army, of which he did lose a sizable portion of by the looks of it. The trailer starts off with a line from Father Martin Alvito, who states that it is time that they look to Toranaga as an ally. And up until this point, the Catholic Church hasn't been the biggest ally of Toranaga, especially considering two of Toranaga's biggest enemies are currently two Christians on the council. Christians that are very much still in line with the Catholic Church. But as we did see in Episode 3, they did help Toranaga and company break out of Osaka by smashing the blockade, and in exchange, Toranaga offered the Catholic Church permission to build a church in his hometown of Edo, if in exchange they would help bring the Christian regents on the council over to Toranaga's side, and perhaps this could be the beginnings of that bearing fruit. But next we get a really good line from Ochiba speaking to Ishido, stating that he has no idea of the enemy he faces. And I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of impact Ochiba has on the council and on the show going forward. As we see at the end of Episode 5, she is clearly coming back to Osaka, meaning business, stating that the council will now be reporting to her. And now that she is back in Osaka, it's going to be interesting to see how the dynamic of the council changes with her presence. We also get a quick scene in the trailer of the play that is upcoming in Episode 6, a play that I am really looking forward to. These old feudal Japanese plays have always been incredibly interesting to watch, and they usually always end up ending in some sort of tragedy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the show that they put on in Episode 6, especially considering Shogun's commitment to authenticity of the time period. But next we get an interesting scene between Mariko and Kiku, with Kiku stating to Mariko that a woman cannot look away when another suffers. So it's going to be interesting to see the scene that these two characters share in particular, especially considering the vast differences in their upbringing and their class system. Up until this point, we haven't seen a whole lot from Kiku, other than her whispering into the ear of Yabushigi's nephew in order to manipulate him, which ultimately ended up leading to the death of Jozen and the beginning of war. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of impact Kiku has on the show, and whose ear she'll be whispering in next. We also see in this scene Mariko and Blackthorne struggling to stay away from each other. And of course, now with the return of Mariko's husband, Mariko stated to Blackthorne that the only words that they will share from this point forward will be from other people's lips. But it looks like they are having a tougher time than they originally thought suppressing their emotions. But next, the trailer ends with a scene of Toranaga addressing what is left of his army, stating that all of those who lost their lives will not have been in vain. Which, of course, he is speaking of the massive earthquake at the end of Episode 5 that took out a sizable portion of his army, right before war is about to begin, which could not have come at a worse time. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see not only how Toranaga responds to this and how he can recover, but also how it affects the overall morale of what is left of his army. Will the men end up seeing the earthquake as a bad omen of things to come in the war? Or will he be able to rally and inspire his troops once more? Either way, it looks like things are continuing to escalate on Shogun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the second half of this season play out. The war is drawing closer and closer, and things are bound to get worse before they get better. But that is going to do it for our Episode 6 trailer breakdown, and definitely leave your thoughts and comments down below. How do you think Toranaga will recover after losing a sizable portion of his forces? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out, and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our future content. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and a huge thank you to all of the channel members, and we will see you on the next one.
生贄となった者たちの命、死を無駄にはせぬぞ。
FX's Shogun.